my beautiful friends. A lot of people write into me asking about attachment trauma based on society or socializing rather than family structure. In this video, I'm going to talk about that, how that does happen, bullying in school, things like this, as well as sort of the next step in where we want to go when we heal this wound. Watch this video. So as usual, I can completely relate to this personally as well. A lot of my work is around codependency, attachment trauma, feeling like you don't belong, feeling like you're not part of something, feeling like you're different, right? But that doesn't always occur because of our family environment. That can very often occur because of our socialization. So a lot of my work is around changing that system or being the change you wish to see in the system. But what that means is a lot of inner work and healing and ultimately aligning with our higher purpose, with our, what I like to say, God work or universe work over the work that we are being told to do from the societal structures. Society is created by people, not God. And people have a free will. So a lot of society structures are not based in an enlightened perspective. They're based in, how can we work towards creating a good society, understood, but oftentimes that falls into ego structures of black and white thinking. I'm not enough if I'm not this. I don't fit in if I'm not this. And what ultimately happens is a codependency where we say, I can't be me and still be accepted by you. This happens in a lot of intimate relationships. How do I keep me and be true to myself, loyal to my own soul, and still fit in, and still be accepted, and still feel like I'm belonging, which is a huge human need. So here's my thoughts on that. Personally, I had that experience of feeling like I have to forego some parts of myself to fit into the school system. I often share I was labeled with ADHD from the age of 7, medicated on Ritalin, only kid in school having to go to the nurse's office and sneak it. There was a secret. I was different. I didn't belong. And unfortunately in our system, kids with learning differences or who are highly intuitive or highly sensitive, who can feel everything and can't focus, or for me, it was really about I did things my own way. Long division, I got the right answer, but I did it totally differently. And instead of honoring that difference and thinking, wow, that's pretty genius, it was actually said it was wrong and you don't do it right and there's a processing problem. Really unfortunate. So a lot of kids go through that. A lot of kids go through, you're not pretty or skinny, so you're not a cool kid. A lot of kids go through, oh, you come from a bad home, you don't know how to process emotion, there's something weird about that kid. A lot of kids go through bullying because just randomly they were picked. Maybe they were sensitive and sweet, and the other kids were like, oh, that one's weak, let's beat him up. All these things happen, and what they do is they create a trauma of I don't fit in, I don't belong, there's something wrong with me, and it's not true. We are all souls born into this human experience. We are all born worthy. What unfortunately happens in our society a lot of the time is that worthiness we're born knowing gets chipped away at so much. And when there's like a bullying incident or like me, I'm the one that's different, even though later in life I found out that difference was wonderful, but I had to figure it out for myself. You'll figure out that your genius is your purpose as well. But what's so interesting is when we're in that developmental stage where our friends and our community and their validation of us, especially emotionally, and their opinion of us forms or confirms our opinion of self. What happens is that confirmation of self never gets to happen. So then we continue into relationships to get the validation from our partner, which pushes us into, a lot of times, toxic relationship cycles. So I've been getting a lot of emails the last couple of months about Candace. My parents are great, but I was bullied. Or Candace, My life at home was fun, but it wasn't enough because I didn't fit into any group at school, or I didn't find myself in music or, class council or whatever. And I wasn't on the dance team and I wasn't popular and I wasn't. So, how do I heal that? Same way, darlings. We heal it by understanding what happened. We had a real trauma, a feeling like something about me is different. I don't belong in this society. But ultimately, what I will share, and it takes time to get there, is you do belong in this world, or you wouldn't be. You do have a very special and specific purpose, or you wouldn't have those differences. You do have a role, but maybe your role isn't going to be societal role. Do you really think that what I do for a living was taught in school? No. It was taught from within, and it was taught from spiritual teachers, waking up to my own spiritual guidance, my own wise guide inside. And so my work is about teaching people to wake up to their own wise guidance inside, their own inner guidance, their own inner truth that may not have been validated by society or a parent or a teacher or a relationship. But what we have to learn is that there is something higher. And the way that we can really get in touch with that is really getting in touch with our own desires, our dreams, our feelings. Oftentimes, when we're not validated in school or in society, we cut off from our own feelings. We numb it out because it's too painful. It feels bad. It feels like when I feel bad, that must be what's bad with me. We internalize instead of, and here's something else I want to say, instead of putting it where it belongs. For instance, oftentimes parents, teachers, society, authority figures don't take responsibility for their own emotions and their own behaviors. And instead, I see a lot of teachers, for instance, because I have a lot of teacher clients, they tell me about this, they'll put things on the kid that shouldn't be on the kid. Shaming, blaming, not appropriate. Instead of, you know what, this kid's acting out, it makes me feel this way. A lot of people, parents, friends, don't take their side of the street. And so you as a kid say, gosh, I guess the reason I'm feeling this then must be what's wrong with me, rather than I'm feeling this because that's what's happening. So there's over responsibility that happens. And when we internalize these negative emotional experiences, we often start to reject our own negative emotion because it means I did something wrong. It means there's something wrong with me. I don't want to feel this. What coping mechanism will I adopt so I don't have to feel my negative emotion? But instead, what we do as we start to heal is we say, oh, this and this and this is what happened to create this inner experience, validated, give it back. I don't have to take on the over responsibility of what my parent is feeling and not being responsible for, or my teacher is feeling and not being responsible for, or these authority figures that are above us when we're young. What we can start to realize is I understand that they weren't able to take responsibility, but I no longer have to either. So, healing these traumas that were not created maybe in the home, but maybe just in society at large is a big task. But I can say from personal experience, once we do heal these wounds, we do feel free and connected to something higher. So that's the goal. You guys, Emotional Rehab is launching so soon. I know I mentioned a lot, but it's getting close. I'm so excited. I just launched my 5-minute soul snack guided meditations. The bundle is below. So many other things going on. I just want to say happy Thanksgiving. It's coming up soon, and have a beautiful week.